parallel frequencies. It's just Blane and Coco. Coco, what's going on over there? What's
I've
happening?
just got my cat trying to drool all over my paper.
Your cat? You're not joking. Like literally, the cat was drooling on your paper as you.
Yeah, I was trying to like write down some notes and get myself prepared here today, and it's not going well. You should probably hear it purring through the microphone.
Yeah, you can. You can. I got one of my feet purring. She doesn't come around until I start doing this, and then she's like, "Oh, maybe they want to be a part of the show." You think they want to be a couple of freaks?
I imagine so. That's why I let her have her moment to shine. That was her 15 minutes. That's what she gets. And
why do you need any more? That's it. She's made her appearance. Maybe we need mascots for the show. Maybe that's it. Maybe we got 2 cats. We got a cat each in our own home. And yeah, you know what? I think that's a great idea. I think that's what we're gonna roll with. You're a witch anyway, so.
Yeah, this is one of my 2 cats. This is the one that likes the attention, likes the spotlight on her. The other one's hiding somewhere.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. You know what else makes total sense is a sequel to a movie that I'm pretty excited about. I'm hyped up about, and I'm gonna show you what it is right here. Give me a second. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. Boom! Right here. Check this out. You remember when we talked about Talk to Me?
Mm-hmm.
They've got in the works a Talk to Me sequel. Now, I'm hyped about this because this movie was crazy. And
yeah.
You remember
it lended itself to a sequel. I mean, it was kind of like a kind of Jumanji feel where crazy stuff happened with this hand, and then it was like the hand kind of gets passed on. Like it's kind of, you knew it was going to get picked up somewhere and somebody was going to be doing something with it.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And we got hyped up about this on our show. We did this one on the Ghost Movie Project. We just did this and did a full deep dive into Talk to Me. And it really went deeper than what I thought because, we started talking about social media and the dangers of it. Which leads us to what we just took part in. Courtney, tell them what we just went to.
Yeah, last week we got to go to a town hall for Promise to Live. And they do these once a month. They do kind of invite everybody together. They have some guest speakers and talking about a specific topic of mental health and suicide prevention, suicide awareness, and things like that. So you and I got to go. And I didn't know what the topic was. Honestly, I kind of just signed up for it thinking like, oh, this will be a great thing to go to. And then when we got there, they were like, we're talking about digital media, the digital media safety, the effects of digital media. They had a doctor researching neuro and mental health connections to the usage of social media or digital media on teenagers and as they're growing up, 8th and 9th graders. And as they get older, man, such good discussions there. I went home and told everybody that I knew about it. I was telling my art students, I was like, you guys, even if your parents don't make you, I'm going to tell you, put your phones away at night. Like have them a different place other than your room that you put your phone and charge it during the night. Put it away. What did you get from that?
Lots of powerful stuff in there, especially when Brandy Vega, who's the leader, our fearless leader for Promise to Live, when she got up there and she was telling us and talking about it, there was one thing that stuck out to me. And it's when she said, we do all these things to lock our houses and keep everything out. But this right here, we're letting murderers, rapists, pedophiles, whoever else, we're letting the evilest of the evil in if you're not securing this between you, your kids, and everybody else in the family. And that hits. That's like, whoa, you're right. There's a bunch of those people out there who are preying on these teenagers, these kids, these adults even, with the sextortion and all this other stuff out here, these scams that are going on that you can't get rid of. And they're preying on the humiliation of it, and that's even worse. Yeah. So it's leading to suicide. That's not cool.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of people on a farm in Nigeria somewhere doing this stuff, And not just
Yeah.
singling out that country, but it is Ivory Coast. There's a bunch of
Outside
African
of our jurisdiction of being able to prosecute them, right? So
and
they're
that's
able to infiltrate and get in and start blackmailing and shaming, and they feed on shame is kind of
yeah.
the thing. Not just people doing that kind of stuff, but essentially all social media has an element to it that we need to be really, really aware of.
Hmm.
And that's not to say that any of it is all evil or all one way or all the other, but just moderation and, maturity, and making sure that you keep a healthy relationship with digital media, protecting yourself when you need to, and especially with our kids,
Oh yeah,
right? They're too young
absolutely.
to understand what's going on and what to do and what not to do. So,
And they touched on it in this town hall. This was at Silicon Slopes in basically Salt Lake City, for those of you out there. But they did touch on a lot of that. It was heavy. It was really heavy to hear some of these things that got told to us. And I mean, I wasn't real sure what we were going to talk about either, but it did look good for me to show up at this one. you know, with
yeah,
AI,
we got to
with
be
AI
aware,
out there.
right?
Yeah, yeah. And the AI talk that we did in there really hit me, and AI it's here. It's here. And I just watched the movie the other night, The Creator, on Amazon Prime. And it's like AI takes over the world. They bomb them. They're trying to take the jobs. They're trying to take over the world, basically. And yeah, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. Who am I to say? But if we treat it right, like they were telling us at the town hall, and we're not out here making whatever it is to trick people, to scam people, to make somebody miserable, and we're actually using it for the good, and maybe we're diagnosing diseases before we can even recognize what they even were. And we're using AI as a tool for us. That's where we need to be at.
Yeah.
And I appreciated hearing that stuff, because you can use it for the evil, and you can use it for, trying to trick somebody into thinking they're looking at something that's not real. But that's not what it's here for. That's not what some all-knowing I know that's going to take some heat, but some all-knowing being, and I know it's not a being, but that's not what AI should be. Not a tool of, not a weapon of mass destruction. That's not what it is. And it could be.
Trickery and lies and and I think that there's enough evil in the world and things that were created to be good that are used for evil. We've seen that in technology since the beginning of time. I mean, everything was evil until it wasn't, right? So
Yes.
I think that there's a place for all of this new technology. And as the last speaker of the town hall said, Joe, he's an IT expert, and he owns software companies and computer companies. And so he's like, listen, technology is not going away, but we have to be super, super careful and aware of what it's being used for. I think there's a lot of tech companies out there that are looking to combat what sort of nefarious things you can do with AI and things like that, with people that are trying to use it for ways to flag mental health and get people support when they need it, to pull resources when somebody is starting to maybe use certain phrases or things that kind of like sets off some red flags. They can get help, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of it's not one or the other. It's just about each individual being mindful and aware of how we're going to interact with this new technology.
There's a great commercial out there right now. And these people, they're not paying me. They don't have to pay me to say this, but it's for Claude AI, Anthropic or something. It's another AI model that you could pay for. But they have a commercial out right now, and they show all these awful things happening. And it's like talking about it being a problem. And it says near the end, it's like, today is an awful time to be a problem. And it goes into Claude AI as the problem solver. It's like we're figuring out things. We're using it for the good. We're using it for medical advances, for scientific advances, for things that we don't understand. Not making some awful video. I'm not even going to throw any ideas out there because it's not even worth it. But it's not that. So I love it. And it's scary. First of all, let me ask, how's everybody doing out there? after this heavy talk. Because what we're about to talk about next, the movie is not just a movie, it feels a lot like real life if you look at it. Like, you watch this and you're like, whoa, this is a little close to home.
Right.
I could see this somewhere down the road being real. And we're talking about The Running Man, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember the original Running Man, so there was one made back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And this is based off a Stephen King book. It was loud, sweaty, neon. Arnold was built like a refrigerator that learned how to punch. Like, that was the Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. But back then, and this was one of my favorite movies for a long time, it felt exaggerated.
Yeah. I hadn't watched the original, so I wondered your thoughts because I was thinking, having had it come out so long ago, did it seem like just really futuristic, impossible?
It did.
Recognizable at all?
When you watch it back then, it's kind of like you're thinking, relax, Hollywood. Nobody's turning suffering into primetime entertainment. That's the 80s. You watch this new movie, 2025, and you're like, wait a minute. I could see this being a thing. And that's crazy. You know, the first version of The Running Man, like, was screaming at you in your face, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, this is bad. This version of The Running Man is the version that is, like, staring at you, like, to see how you react. It's like, all right, you know, I think it is. It was crazy to see just how he got into the game itself. You're just like, oh my gosh, I would never play this game. And then you're like, wait a minute, he's actually going to have to play this game.
Yes, because you can see how it walked you through that. Like, not having a society where healthcare is a given right. It is absolutely for the elite or the ones that can afford it. And when your family or a family member is sick, or if you need money or something like that, you can see how it walks you through that decision process to get to the point where you're like, listen, I'll do what I got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a broken system, and it's run by one overarching organization, really, right? Like, it is real parallel to a lot of the things that go on in real life. And that is scary to me. It's like, what does happen when the entertainment is controlled? And that's what they're doing. They're using entertainment as control.
It becomes now no hard and fast line between the governing body and that entertainment network, the money, where the money flows. Like, there's little to no separation. So you realize how very, very close we are to that in reality.
I mean, I'm not getting into politics right here, but we literally have a reality TV personality in the White House as president right now.
You can't deny that.
It's not too far-fetched. And that's what's crazy about this movie, The Running Man, is how calm it is. It's pretty calm to be a crazy action movie because nobody's really forcing people at gunpoint. They're offering incentives. You know, money, visibility, a shot at relevance. This show makes you relevant. It makes you all those things, you know? And that's what hit me. It's like we're already living in a world where people trade privacy for attention. We're here. We're there already.
Yeah, I wrote down as I was watching this and just jotting down some ideas of what came to mind, like right off the bat. I was like, Hunger Games, but with anarchy. Yes. Not like the Capitol entertainment, but this is like even the common folk are getting so into the entertainment of watching people fight for their lives. And then the idea that he didn't realize they were going to switch things around just enough to make it look like these are just criminals that sign up. These are the bad guys for this. And that his reputation and everything else is going to be lost, even like for his family. They're never going to be able to be who they were again in public.
And it's hard to figure out what the line between opportunity and exploitation is when the audience is cheering their asses off. Like you said, you know, seriously, like at what point does consent to be on this stop being consent if the system's rigged anyway, Coco, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, he realized it right off the bat when they pushed him forward. And then they said all of these things about him that twisted and turned everything from this is a family guy just trying to do his best. He stood up for what was right and got fired from his job, into now it's just like, here's all these really amazing reasons to hate this guy. You want to hate him so bad that there is no way he is going to make it the 30 days. Here he is right there. Put him on stage.
And the blatant use of AI to change the way that he is portrayed to make the crowd not like him when they should like him is kind of what we were talking about earlier happening in the real world, you know? And
yeah,
it's a state-run government in this, and it's a prime example of a movie that doesn't have one villain. Sure, Josh Brolin's character is a villain, but he represents all of it, you know? And that's what's crazy. It's the crowd, you know? It's
what the people choose to believe, what they choose to accept as information as truthful or as, you know, without questioning it or wondering what would I do if it was me in this position. It's just we love to hate this guy and we love to get in on the action here of jeering and trying to find him and get video of him. Like, you know, you get rewards for being the one who spots them and, you know, all these like reasons, incentives why they get everybody in on it. So everybody's against these running contestants.
Yeah.
There's various people that have signed up for the show. I started asking as I'm watching it, I was thinking to myself, first of all, what if you were able to somehow start out by acting really likable? Like in the Hunger Games where you kind of try to get sponsors by being really likable somehow. Yeah, they're kind of cheering for your death, but then they might want you to survive and win. So they start sponsoring you, start giving you help. They start, you know, if you could come up with a way somehow to be that likable something, I think you kind of see that play out in the movie as it goes along. But
you do.
Definitely he didn't do a super good job of not looking really guilty and kind of worse right from the start. I don't know about you, but my thoughts were like, don't walk around like this.
Yeah, he did.
For those who are just listening, I'm looking around, you know, suspiciously.
His first costume or disguise was awful too. That mustache that fell off. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like,
and even still, he was looking around like really guilty. He's like, oh, nobody recognizes me. You know, I'm like, come on, man, we can do better than this. Find your acting. Find your acting. Find your.
And that's.
But it turns out it doesn't matter if he did act really likable. It didn't matter if he said things that were like pointing fingers back at who was really responsible. Because then when he did try that, they just edited the video and made him say whatever they wanted him to say anyway. And that's when I realized there's no way out of this. This is rigged, right?
And his character, Ben Richards, Glenn Powell plays him. It's not Ryan Gosling. I was joking with you on that. I think they look a lot alike, but Ben Powell.
Oh, I wish. Both of them.
I think he really
good looking.
Yeah, he took this to the next level. Like, I think he made you feel like the runner is not a superhero. They're tired. They're trying to make decisions. They're still human. It's not really about winning it as much as it is about staying intact. Mentally, physically, all those things. And you see that going on with Ben Powell, with Ben Richards. And Glenn Powell.
Richards lives. Richards lives.
Yeah, but it's incredible to see just the way that the character arc goes. And he does go to that part where he is too popular for them to kill. You know, they even say it. They're like, oh, you're not going to get touched now. Your ratings, your high ratings. And that's when he becomes worth something to the television network, because now he can make them money. And that's what it's all about, you know?
Yeah. And this is kind of the key. I always kind of try to find that one quote or that one thing that someone says. It's like, if this movie were boiled down to one message, what would it be? That the one I wrote down was, they want us to hate each other.
Yeah.
You really have to think about that in the context of like the real world and think to yourself, if that was the goal of those in power, to want us to hate each other, how much do we play into that as the spectators, right? We're all the spectators. We're the public.
We're not just watching stories anymore. We're optimizing them. We're breaking them down. I mean, real talk. This is not just for me and you, but you out there listening. Have you ever caught yourself like rooting for chaos in any circumstance because it's more entertaining? Especially if you're the one that's the observer and don't have to be in the middle of it. No judgment to anybody that does that, but there are people who do that. They root for chaos. Mm-hmm. And you put something like this on you put this out there in a way like The Running Man, and rooting for chaos is okay. They make it okay. That's what they want, you know? And that's even scarier. It's like, well, now you got a crowd almost no different than in gladiator times who are rooting people on to kill each other, and that's it. And I thought we were past that, you know, but I don't think we are.
No, really it just changes forms into, it looks a little bit differently. But I really, in going back to what we were talking about in digital media and the town hall that we went to, it's so fantastically perfect that this movie and that topic go hand in hand, because essentially it's like what you see on Instagram or what you see of someone's life, whether they're like top influencer level, they've got millions of views, or they're just like your Aunt Sally and you're like, what is she doing out in Barbados having a refreshing drink next to the beach? Whatever it is that you're seeing, it's just so important to take it with a grain of salt, all of it. And to take a moment to be reflected on that, reflect and be mindful on those judgments that come into our heads when we see something. Because I think that's what everybody was doing. Of course, like with Ben, they're like, he's left his baby and his wife was a prostitute and blah, blah, blah. Like they just latched onto that story and they loved hating him and they loved cheering for his death. And then to be like, what if maybe that's not true? The girl in the car at the end, she got a chance to see the real Ben. She got a chance to meet him. She got a chance to hear his side of the story a little bit and then realized we've all been played. We were all played a little bit on what we thought of this guy. We were being made to hate him. So what about all of those people we see on digital media? What if we see them on TikTok and we envy their lives when we have no idea what their life is really like? Probably
not what you see. You know, fake it till you make it is real. When people say that, that's a real thing. There are people who are faking themselves out of their own realities, you know, and it works for other people. And there's other shows like this, like Squid Game and these life or death game shows, basically. Alice in Borderland, another great one. That's one that's underrated. But there's shows like this and you watch them and you're like, oh, nobody would ever do that. Yes, they would. I guarantee you, Squid Game is 456 people. That's what it starts with. They're doing the version now that's a reality show. If somebody out there did a real version, they'd have 456 people, desperate people, lined up pretty quick, even though they knew only one person's leaving. Because they don't got nothing else to lose. It's like, well, I'm going to get rich or die trying. And this is the easiest way for it, you know? I got a 1 in 456 chance of winning. That's better than my chances in real life. That's what they're looking at. Running Man was no different, you know? Like, he had the whiteboard of game shows and how much they won. Yeah. He was looking to go on a game show. You know, it made sense. Sure, Running Man made sense for him to go on. And he passed all those tests and all that kind of stuff. But the real danger in this movie is the fact that it is on TV and it is being told it's okay. There is the friendly voice telling you everything's fine. it kind of reminded me of how we package up bad news these days, you know? With branding, music, and a call to action at the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to human suffering. That's kind of what it is.
Right. Yeah. And how many of us who are making, an effort to put our lives and our knowledge and our wisdom on social media, myself included, saying, this is what I want people to get out of what I have to give, right? But then I think to myself, like, oh, I just ate at a restaurant that was really delicious and I didn't take pictures and I didn't post that. And you're like, how is that any different? You're just like, I want to be recognized for this and I want to be seen for that and I want to have my little piece of the pie or whatever it is. Or do I just want to sit down and really enjoy this restaurant? And maybe I just enjoyed the time I was there and I ate and I left. And it was it was an experience I had. Not everybody needed to know about it, right?
But that's really why this movie works, because of the moment we're in. We're in the reality TV era, the influencer culture, performative vulnerability. We've normalized watching people fall apart in high definition and 4K. Yeah. Like, think about it. The Running Man doesn't shame the audience in the movie or at home. It quietly asks you, why are you still watching? If you don't like it, why are you still watching? And everybody's watching it.
Yeah.
That's what lingered. That lingered with me for a long time after watching the movie. I'm like, ooh, yeah, why are you still watching? If it's so barbaric and so not okay, then why are you watching? Because that's what feeds it. That's what keeps it going, So what's the vicious circle? How do you break that? And that was crazy to think about after seeing it, after watching Ben Richards go through all of it. He went through hell.
Yeah.
He goes in both movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger's character goes through hell too. He goes through maybe bigger hell because he has to fight some pro wrestlers and all kinds of stuff. It's wild. You should watch that one back in the 80s. I've got that one too. But yeah, like, did you feel like this movie exaggerated it, or was it almost like a mirror?
I think that what was really nerve-wracking and scary about it was how not exaggerated it was. And it's supposed to be in some non-disclosed time in the future, right? But it didn't look all that futuristic to me, other than some of the technology or self-driving cars, or obviously something that was a norm in this context. But the fact that the push to be on a show like this or to watch it is the miserable economy, or whatever is going on in normal people's life. He wants an opportunity to get him and his family out of the slums, and that when his daughter has the flu, they can provide medication easily and readily available. That should be a given human right, but it's not. In this movie, they're like, we got to do whatever we got to do. And like you were saying about the Squid Game, it's like, I have a better chance possibly being able to make some money and put my life at risk if it means I can get my daughter some medicine, if I can provide for her. That network needed people to be that desperate. They needed the world to look like that in order for their whole thing to work. Right?
Would you compete in one of these games?
I'm not. I would say, given the desperation, I can't say, right? Like, it's possible. I could get desperate enough to be like, I'll do anything. I'll do anything for my kids, right? But when I think about myself signing up to do that right now, I'm like, man, I should probably get a lot more in shape just in case I have to do something like that. If I got to run for 30 minutes straight, I better start training, better start getting ready.
Okay, so would you watch the show then? If this show was real, would you watch this? It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say I'm like a more enlightened person to be able to say, I'm not feeding into this, I'm not giving them what they want. But I think that those people who were watching truly didn't know the harm it was causing by them feeding into it and watching it. I think it took the experience of watching Ben and what happened to him, and then Thank goodness at the end they found the black box. They realized it was manipulated. The public is being notified of what happened. What were his actual words? Those pamphlets got sent around. I mean, at that point, then you're like, oh, I have participated in this by watching. And having known that, I wouldn't, right?
Yeah. I want to know from you out there, would you compete in The Running Man or would you watch it? Either one, hit us up in the comments and let us know. There was the one group of people that tried to help him. So there were people who were against the system, you know, and they were trying to help him out. But even when his video got showed on TV, the grandmama or the mom or somebody was like, get him out of here. And, you know, the other kids knew it wasn't real.
Yeah.
And then
I absolutely think that she knew he didn't actually say that. I don't think she believed it when she saw it. I don't think that's why she said get out. I think she realized he's going to be more hated and more hunted and more like we are super duper in danger harboring him here. And I think that's why she was like, you have got to get him out of here now. And it's not her unwillingness to help him. And it wasn't her not believing him when he said, I didn't say that. They changed it. I think she would have been in a position where she would have been like, oh, of course they did. Of course they did. She's not stupid. I don't think. I think she was like, well, listen, he's got to get out of here.
They made him the worst human being there was. Like, you're right. Like, that put her and her family in danger. So she's mama bear all of a sudden. It's like, get him out of here. And that's where this movie takes a turn for me. And you know why. We go to the safest place we can, Derry, Maine. I started laughing so much. When they go to Derry, I'm like, that's where he's going to be safe? No way. And that really was a great Easter egg for me. I mean, it's not really even an Easter egg. It's right out in the open. There you are in Derry. And
there it is.
I was looking for clues. When they got to Derry, I'm like, all right, let me start looking for the real clues here of what I want to see. And I swear to you, the old lady laughing, there's another time when it happens, and it's not her laughing, it's Pennywise laughing. You can hear him in the background.
No, I heard that. I was like, that is creepy.
But that was awesome when he's walking out of the house and you can hear Pennywise. I swear it was a Pennywise reference. I mean, they're in Derry, and why would you not be around there? It could be in the 27-year cycle, you know? It might be a year of Pennywise. So I did love that crossover part right there because, once again, I've been saying it for a while. They are really starting to tie the Stephen King averse, the King-averse. It's tying together, man. They're really laying the threads out and showing us what all it really is. And I love that. Yeah. So
shout out to Michael Cera too for that whole scene. He did an amazing job. I love Michael Cera and a lot of other stuff that he's done, but this was probably one of my favorite roles that he did, where he gets so excited to do the Home Alone in the house bit.
I love it. I feel like this is a role Michael Cera was like, I'll do it. Yeah. Nope, no pay. I got you. And I think he set up his own traps. Like, I feel like he probably
he's like, ka-choo.
Had that planned out. Michael Cera, though, yeah, he did crush it in that small part that he was in. He made it a big part. And once again, Glenn Powell as Ben Richards, not Ryan Gosling. I thought that joke would be funny, but, you know, I realized that it wasn't you that I said that to. It was my wife that I made the joke earlier for. And you would have got it if so there's that. I know it's not Ryan Gosling playing the Running Man. Yeah,
do you know what though?
But yeah,
I'm not saying no to either of them with their shirt off. Let's just get that clear right now. Neither of them in any movie that they want to do with their shirts off, I'm all for it. I'm okay. I'm here to be a spectator in that show.
Yeah, you know what? Like I'm comfortable enough in my sexuality. I mean, I'm married with kids and everything, but I can look at Glenn Powell take his shirt off and be like, whoa, damn. Like, all right, I see what you're working with. You know, it's not like jealousy. It's not none of that. It might make me think, yeah, I better start working out before I hit the Running Man. I would go on there. I've been at places in my life where it was probably That was the way out. You know, I've been on game shows. I was on a game show. We're gonna have to pull up that footage at some point down the road. And
These
you're
would
gonna
be
have to see
great
me on
spots
this
for
game
that.
show. I just thought about that. We're teasing that now. I'll have to get that episode ready and see. It was on the CW. And I'm not gonna tell you what show it's on, but we will get to that. What's your final thought on The Running Man before we wrap this thing up?
I think this is just a overall thrilling, fun, edge of your seat while you're watching it kind of movie. Like vastly entertaining in that right, all on its own. But then I love that it offers these deeper, thought-provoking questions that we can absolutely take into our everyday life and say, now, how much am I participating in that kind of anarchy? And what would I want it to look like if I did want some of those systems to break down? How am I going to, do a quiet protest, which is just turn the TV off. Don't participate, right?
A whole song about that Kendrick Lamar did, turn the TV off. And that's what it kind of comes down to. Exactly this.
Yeah.
That song had
So
a
do
deeper
that
meaning
after
than
our
just...
show.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? This is why we do this show. It's not to tell you what to think, but to sit with you while you think.
Mm-hmm.
Movies like this aren't warnings, they're temperature readings. And right now, it's hot. The signal's loud, you know? Stay curious. Stay human. Don't let the algorithm decide who you are. And until next time, it's just Blane and Coco. It's Parallel Frequencies. We'll see you on the other side.